College of Design's podcast. I'm Lauren Johnson, a communications specialist at the college and producer of this podcast. It's currently homecoming week at Iowa State University, and the college is welcoming a few of our accomplished alums back on campus for some festivities, an opportunity to connect with our students, and be honored at an award ceremony this Friday. I am with one of our 2024 Design Achievement Award recipients, Michael Helgerson. Mike, hello.
Hello.
So thank you so much for accepting our invitation to speak on this podcast, Mike, and congratulations on your award. What does this recognition mean for you?
Well, it is an incredible honor. I mean, honestly, when I think about my time here at Iowa State University, this isn't something that I would have ever thought of getting at this point in my career, and to have a peer and a colleague nominate me and to receive the recognition and connecting with all of the alumni in Omaha who saw the recognition, it's been overwhelmingly, just really gratifying, and I'm grateful for it. And so it's been unexpected, but really an honor to receive this from my alma mater.
Yes, great. Well, we're so happy to have you back. Just a little introduction into who Michael is. Michael is currently the Executive Director of the Metropolitan Area Planning Agency, or MAPA, based in Omaha, Nebraska. Michael was named as their Executive Director in 2021, and since being with MAPA, Michael has led development of the Heartland Connections Regional Bike Ped Plan, the region's first bicycle pedestrian master plan of its kind, and the Metro Travel Improvement Study, creating a 20-year plan of projects for the Nebraska Department of Transportation and local governments. Mike, how did your education at Iowa State prepare you for this career?
Well, it gave me a really strong foundation, and I think the biggest thing it gave me was just a curiosity into finding the answers for things, learning how to find the answers for things, and questioning all of those things that you hear and you see throughout your career and your work. But obviously Iowa State College of Design in particular is interdisciplinary, and it brings a lot of different disciplines together, and the field of planning is that. I mean, the planning itself, you're working with people who are architects, you're working with people who are lawyers, you're working with people who are engineers, landscape architects, and accountants. It's everybody that helps deliver services in local government and brings projects together. And so, I think just that exposure to all of those disciplines, and then really connecting with all of those Iowa State alumni and all the other people that I work with as well throughout my career, it's just really been a great foundation to build on. And the planning program here, it blends that so well. It challenges you into, understanding the design principles of projects, understanding where those things come from, but also on the policy side and preparing you for really what that work is in local government and how to approach it. So very
Yeah,
grateful.
And kind of going back to the interdisciplinary part of that, I mean, yes, so many of our classes here are structured that way. Do you think after you graduated that kind of sets you apart in the workforce?
I do, and I think it's just letting your creativity and some of that, get you out of the coursework, thinking and problem solving. I mean, that is what planning is in your actual career. It's, how do you tackle a problem? How do you put a project together? How do you fund it? Is the policy in alignment with what you were trying to do? What can we change? How do we change it? And really managing all of that. That is planning at its base level, is really just that change management and how you approach projects, how you approach those decisions, and have the right information to proceed.
Yeah. So I know that you're still involved with Iowa State in your professional career. What has it been like to work with students in the Community and Regional Planning Professional Mentor Program?
Yeah, that was a really gratifying program, just in terms of connecting with students, doing some of those mock interviews through the career course, and ultimately getting to interview some of them for jobs later on. But just hearing about their career ambitions, hearing about how their work and their passion to start a program at Iowa State, what their career ambitions were, how, as somebody who's been in the career for, over a decade now, how I can help steer them and guide them in that new direction. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and been able to hire a few Cyclones over the years as well in my time at MAPA. And so that's been great as well. It's good bulwark to have on Saturdays and on Fridays in the office, when you get a lot of Nebraska Cornhusker talk. It's good to have a few Iowa State fans around as well.
There you go. Some healthy, what do they call it, rivalry. There we go. Yes, of course. So one of the benchmarks of your career is that you've helped increase funding for multimodal transportation within the greater Omaha and Council Bluffs area. I think it goes without saying that it's important to give folks various options for getting around, but what drew you to this project?
Well, it's really the way that we look at and prioritize transportation investments. A lot of that over the history of our country has been prioritized towards highway investment, And when we look at how we have a region that makes us competitive both within Nebraska and Iowa to draw talent that we need for our workforce, or even compete nationally and internationally, the places that do that well use place-based solutions. So they're building places and neighborhoods that are connected together and give people options. And I think what's really interesting is we provide a lot of tools and a lot of resources for people to live very specific lifestyles and do that well. And we've really been growing on that over a long period of time. But to attract some of the new talent, the younger talent, and the talent that everybody's competing for, the solutions look different. And so increasing how we approach those decisions, how we make smart decisions, how we invest in those things is a really important part of my career, whether that's transit, whether that's walkability, whether it's cycling. Those are all really important strategies that we've tried to build on. It's challenging, it takes a long time, but it's also really gratifying to see some of those pieces fall together.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you could kind of walk me through that. You have had, like you had mentioned, you've been in the game for 10 years. I guess kind of tell me how you've been happy to see your community transform.
Sure. So one of the things that I'm most proud of is our 2050 long-range transportation plan, and it was something that we undertook with the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce, which is a regional organization like ours. And what we really started out with doing was really getting out of the normal transportation goals as our framework. So not necessarily thinking about congestion or not even really thinking about safety as explicitly as a goal at the top line level, but thinking about what does it mean if we have successful transportation? Well, it means people are able to get where they need to. They're able to have the accessibility to get to education opportunities, to get to work, to get to their daily needs, and being able to do that in a dignified way. It also means that as a region that we have the talent and workforce that we need to be successful. It means that our region's growing and we have the transportation system to support that economic growth, and ultimately that we've, as policymakers at the regional level, decided that we're going to have the resources in place, not just to build it, but to maintain those systems long into the future. So those goals, when you start from a very different vantage point, how you measure your success in that way changes, how you bring and think about partnerships together, those look different. And so that project in and of itself really put transit at the center of what we were looking to do, just because it is so essential, not just today, but in the future, as we look at where people who need employment opportunities are. Transit's a really big important solution so that they don't have the burden of auto ownership, but kind of pulling them down. As housing costs increase, having jobs closer to where they can live is a really important strategy. And that lens of accessibility is really powerful as well, because it's not just about a new line on a map for a transportation project. Land use policy, so whether it's transit-oriented development or just missing middle housing, increasing density at a more routine level, all those pieces work together. And so it can be a project. It can also just be bringing more people closer to where those job opportunities are, where those activity centers are. And so it's been a really powerful thing. And as a planner, it's kind of like, that's the golden goose, right? Being able to talk about those things, provide that decision support for policymakers at the local level, then ultimately having a team that can help work on all of those things and bring those projects to life.
Good deal. Well, my next question is, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here. So what has been your best piece of advice throughout your career?
Yeah, I think being curious and staying curious. That whole idea of being a lifetime learner, that you don't graduate with a degree and that's kind of it. Looking for those opportunities to learn both formally and continue your career. After Iowa State, I got a graduate degree as well, but also then just continuing to find those challenges in your career. If there's a part of your work that you don't understand, digging in, finding those resources, finding those mentors in your life to just kind of continue that professional development on your own and challenging yourself to take it on.
Mm-hmm. And so my very last question, I did a little digging, like I mentioned earlier, online, and I saw when you aren't busy doing planning, one of your hobbies is cycling. So I have to ask, are the trails in Omaha better than the ones in Iowa? I do think you're going to be a little biased, but what's your answer here?
Well, I don't have to be biased. So I serve communities in both Nebraska and in Iowa, and
right.
So I think the trail systems are growing in both places. Greater Des Moines has a trail system that I think is the envy of the Midwest and how connected it is. And that's really a big part of our work in Omaha, is really leveraging some of the really large regional trails we have, making those intentional connections between communities. Our annual dinner this month, we actually had the keynote speaker, was from the Great American Rail Trail, and talking about that corridor that connects our region from east to west. We've made some huge investments on it. There's some more coming, and really putting the final pieces together on that. The regional trail network coming in. Iowa's got some great trails. Nebraska has some great trails, but I would say that's a big project that we're continuing to work on, and it's just great to have those quality of life amenities accessible to people.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much, Mike. I think that's all the time we have today, but before we go, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
No, tremendous thanks to Iowa State for this opportunity and for a great education that's put me in the place that I am today, and very grateful for all of it, and happy to be back this weekend.
And thank you for joining us for this conversation. We will see you next time.